Welcome team. In this video, we're going to figure out how to use this meaty template that is the financial position. Now, financial position is what your financial position is at the end of a time period. So it might be the end of each month, it might be the end of the year, but it's often what a bank will ask you for when you go for lending. So it is a very smart practice to get into and understand. Also within this template is some goal setting and also a budget / a cash flow to see how your pay flows through your expenses and what's left after that. So I think it's a very, very good habit to get into thinking about this stuff on a monthly basis to be able to create a good habit that you can stick to and keep your mind thinking about money and keep your mind on how you're going to produce more savings and also decrease some of your liabilities like credit cards, etc. So I'll share my screen and we will rip into it. Right, starting with the goals tab. So in here, you want to put things that you want to achieve over the next 30 days, 90 days, 1 year, 5 years, self-explanatory. These might just be things like decreasing a credit card limit. And then 90 days, it might be decreasing the actual level that you owe on the credit card. 1 year, it might be that you don't have that credit card anymore. 5 years, think big with this sort of stuff. This is about what do you really want to achieve in the longer term in terms of finances. So it might be a new home. It might be a second home. It might just be that you're debt free. It might be financial freedom. Whatever it is that you want to come up with, be brave and write it down. Each time you achieve a goal, especially every 30 days, make a list of it so you can go back and actually see, right, wow, over the last 12 months, I've done X, Y, and Z, and give you a lot more confidence about the progress that you're making, because it is very easy to overlook the progress that we make, especially in a financial situation as we get bogged down with the next problem that comes into our life in terms of a dentist bill or things like that. So navigate those and be proud and celebrate the fact that you're working through them. We'll move into the cash flow, which is designed to show where your money goes when you get paid and then how far it'll last you. So these figures are all templated, made up figures. So you need to go through and edit them for what is realistic to your life. At the moment, that's set up to be weekly, but you can change that if you want to. But getting granular down to per week gives you a great way to actually think about it a lot more and will challenge you to, rather than just think, oh, what do I roughly spend on the gym per month and things like that. So start with a week, and as you progress and get a bit more savvy and understand your numbers a bit more, then maybe you can advance to a month and do it at a higher level. But start small and then go from there. So all of these costs will tally up and they're into sections. So personal bills, living, leftovers. So go through and add all of the things that you pay for. And hopefully you would have done the exercise first where you're analyzing your expenses, and then you bring those over here so that you actually know what these are. Then you want to add in your living expenses like rent, food, fuel. You can edit these and put in whatever you need to add into here. So that might be extra food. And you can just populate any of these columns and they will all become like the previous. So, and then the numbers will change down the bottom as you see. So from here, then you've got leftover. So these are the things that you're going to use your extra money for. So it might be that you want $250 a week to spend on whatever it is that you want to spend it on. You might be repaying a credit card, so that's $250 gone. You might be saving in terms of bonus bonds and sharesies, or you might just want to change this and make it savings. That's fine. You do what you need to do and edit it for yourself. So you can, of course, with a spreadsheet, drag it across. We won't turn this into a Excel or Google Sheet tutorial, but this is all customizable, and make it your own and have some fun with it and make it something that you can understand, because it is no use not understanding what it is that you're doing. So what this will do is it'll actually tally what you've got left out of the week. So because you're getting paid $4,000 in this week and then paying all of those expenses, and then you're not getting anything for those future weeks, obviously it's going to look a lot healthier. So there's $2,600 left at the end of that week. Now, the total of those expenses is $1,396. And the next week, it's $1,320. So this will show you what it is that you've actually got left. So a negative is, of course, when you don't have any income, but you do have expenses. So be mindful of that. But you can also change that if you don't like the way that that's calculating. But find that it's a good way to keep a close eye on what it is you actually have left over to spend. Now, this is something that will track how much money you're going to gather. So if your opening balance is $2,600, You might change it to 5,500 or whatever your balance is. It might only be $500. It will then show you what is going to be left over up here and then added to the starting balance. So it will show you whether you're going to end up running into overdraft or you need more money. So in this instance, you're spending more than what you're earning. So we need to change some things up here. Now that can be another exercise, which people need to go through individually, but hopefully people aren't spending more than what they are making. But this is a good way to see if that is actually the case. Now, this here is obviously the number you want to keep an eye on to see, right, am I actually, staying afloat? So let's say all of a sudden your income was actually $8,000 and you received 8,000 in that week and 8,000 in that week. You'd quickly be able to see, right, what extra money do I actually have? And then you might want to change your savings to be increased, or you might want to pay down a credit card further. Now I've left in this credit card payment here and put it in red so that you can see that you can build that sort of thing in for yourself as well, where you might have a $15,000 credit card that you start with and you decide you're going to start trying to pay that off at $250 a week. So this is calculating $250 off the week before if you are making that. So you can see that it's coming from there. So say you didn't make a payment in that month, then quite simply it wouldn't calculate it for you. But build those sorts of things in as well. Depending on what your goals are, you might actually be trying to build a $5,000 nest egg, so you could change that to increase towards $5,000, but you can see what the balance of your credit card is going to be over each of those months. So hopefully that is nice and simple, but like I say, use it how you want to use it and make it about yourself, your situation, and how you can best understand it so that you don't not use it because it's too hard. Now, if we jump over to the position, which is what you have on hand. So this is what they call a balance sheet in accounting terms, and you can enter your assets and your liabilities, and then it'll calculate for you the assets minus the liabilities. So your home, for instance, in this example, this person doesn't own a home, they don't have any other property, but they have an $80,000 car, they have cash and term deposits of $58,000, shares in companies and sharesies for $40,000, they have their KiwiSaver of $30,000, which a lot of people forget, and then other $2,000, so a bond on a property, so they're obviously a renter. So then we go down here, this isn't going to apply, they don't have a mortgage on a home or any other property, but they do have a car loan of $65,000, finance cards of $2,500, personal loans of 20 grand, and credit cards of 15,000, plus other of 20 grand. So you might want to write down what that is if that was you. But basically that will give you a total of those liabilities. And this will then tell you, what your assets minus your liabilities are. Now, the reason it's important to do this is that you want to track how this is moving, and hopefully it is increasing month to month. And that's why these months are here, and you can change all of these to be however you want them to be, but you want to keep an eye on this each month to ensure that this figure is increasing. So you're moving the needle somewhere, you're decreasing some of your debt or you're increasing some of your assets, and you're not just staying the same or going backwards, because that is not you accumulating any wealth. So this is also known as your net worth, which is a simple calculation of basically what you are worth as a person as such. Now let's ignore whether you can calculate someone's financial worth that simply, and just keep it to a basic accounting, but that will be your net worth. So go through and track this. So you might, this might stay the same the whole way through. Then all of a sudden at the end of April, you've got $60,000 because you've saved $2,000. Your shares are still the same, 40,000. You might want to even track what their actual market value is. Your KiwiSaver is $30,000. Again, you might want to bump it up to 32 because it's increased in its market value. Your bond's still the same. So you've increased your assets by $2,000. Now you've actually paid off $1,000 of your car loan in that month as well. You've got your finance cards down to $2,000. Your personal loan hasn't changed. That's still 20 grand. And your credit card is still $15,000, and you're going to address that at some stage. This $20,000 is still here, your other debt. All of a sudden, your assets minus your liability and your technical net worth is $91,000. So you know you're moving in the right direction. Now, this is a great way to be able to keep a track of whether you are in fact making any progress. So Do all three of these and do them regularly, whether that be weekly, monthly, but I'd say at least do it monthly to start learning more about this and actually figure out, okay, am I making progress? And if someone was to ask me that, how would I justify that? This will give you all of the tools you need to be able to justify that. I hope it's really simple. If not, you can ask questions, but I'm sure that you can also change it to suit your needs. All the best.